Get ready. I will lead the way."
"To our open graves, my captain."
In reply, Captain Melgosa leaned so close that Antonio could smell his foul breath. "If we failed to reach the river, we might die of thirst anyway. Is it not better to die fighting like Spanish soldiers than to lie up here panting like whipped dogs?" Before Antonio could answer, Captain Melgosa grinned wolfishly in the waning moonlight, his teeth whiter than polished ivory, his eyes blacker than obsidian. "And think of this, Private Madrid. If we reach that river and return to save the suffering company, our fame will be assured. The great Coronado himself will remember us when we return to Spain as heroes."
"If we go down into that hole and die," Antonio argued, "will our sun-bleached bones care if they are famous? And will your sweet wife, Candide, or your 6 children? Will it matter even a little to my family or to that of Juan Galeris if we foolishly die beside some stinking river in an abyss so deep and hot that even vultures dare not fly down to pick our stupid bones?"
Captain Melgosa scowled. He was a tall, powerful man with the beak and temperament of a hawk. He was fair but fierce, and Antonio believed there was no finer soldier alive. But Melgosa was too eager to martyr himself for God and country.
"My captain," Antonio whispered, "even if we reach the bottom of the chasm, which we cannot, we will never climb out alive."
"Yes, we will," Melgosa argued. "We will have water and weapons. There must be fish in the river and things to hunt and eat down there. Our lives will be saved by that river." Antonio disagreed. For 3 days they had searched for a way to the river far, far below, but had failed. The canyon simply was too immense, an unholy and open tomb, large enough for every living thing that had ever existed. "The orders have been given that the 3 of us should go at first light," Captain Melgosa was saying. "We will wear the armor of Spain, and we will fight—"
"In armor?" Antonio protested. "On top of all else, we must wear armor."
Now Melgosa would not meet his eyes. "It was ordered so that the men we leave behind will not lose their spirit. To do otherwise would be a sign that we expect to fail."
"But—"
Melgosa's big hand shot out, and he grabbed Antonio by both ears and shook him like a puppy. "No more argument," the captain hissed. He released Antonio's right ear and drew his sword. "Private Madrid, do you refuse my order?" Antonio's heart began to hammer, and he choked.
"No, my captain. I will prepare myself at once."
"Good. I expect us to reach the river by noon, and to carry as many empty Boda bags as we can fill with water for our thirsty company." Antonio dared not remind his captain that the Hopi believed not only that the great canyon was filled with demons, but that it was even larger than it appeared from high up on this south rim. Captain Melgosa's immediate superior, Major Garcia Lopez de Cardenas, judged it to be only a few leagues across, but the Indians thought it much, much wider. Their Hopi scouts also claimed that the river was very big, as wide as 50 men were long. But in this, Antonio thought them mistaken, for the river appeared only a few yards wide, and it was red with mud, thus earning it the name of Rio Colorado. "Hurry!" Captain Melgosa growled, as he went to awaken Juan Galeras. Antonio reached into his tunic and clutched a wooden crucifix suspended by a leather thong. The crucifix symbolized both his poverty and his Catholic faith. Someday he hoped to replace wood and leather with gold, and then to become a wise and wealthy man who gave much to his village and to the church. But now, as Antonio faced the prospect of almost certain death, those dreams tasted as bitter as ashes. His only solace was that an all-knowing and merciful God would take into account that poor Antonio Madrid had already spent time in this